How's that, guys? Mic check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2. Can you hear me now? You should be able to hear me now. I did fix a thing. Okay, great. Simone says she can hear me. Sheila says she can hear me. Thank you guys for always helping mic check me because thanks, Kajana. Great. So you guys can hear me. I'm going to get rid of the headphones. Here I am. Okay. All right. Guys, as per always, we got a lot to cover, you know? So I'm not going to wait a super long time. I see people responding here on Facebook. Brianna is saying she didn't see the Facebook stream. I do see people responding from Facebook to my questions. So I'm assuming that Facebook is actually live. It was not yesterday. Thank you guys for bearing with us. It was awesome that so many of you guys came through and just figured out how to get to us. That's how it's like when you're serious about that, like life, that transformation life, that upgrade life. You figure out how to get to it. And I saw a bunch of you guys do that yesterday, so I appreciate that. All right, here, let us get ready to begin. All right. Well, I'll just say hi. And for those of you, I think everybody here knows, but for those of you that don't, my name is Tara-Nicholle Kirk. I am the metaphysician. I am a self-mastery guide and spiritual strategist, business growth strategist for people who are smart and ambitious, successful and soulful. All right. I am the author of The Transformational Consumer and more recently Aligned to Millions. And I'm the founder and CEO of Soul Tour. We are a fully integrated self-mastery coaching and business growth strategic consulting firm where you learn how to be your biggest self and do your biggest dreams and how to do them now. All right. So I've written 4 books. I've created 3 7-figure plus business empires. And my special area of expertise is helping you recalibrate your inner landscape, actualize your true sacred self, and monetize who you really are in the process. And then align so that you ultimately, if you hang out with me for long, ultimately you should end up making big money just for being yourself. Okay. It is my intention and mission to help you build the business empire of your soul so that you can live the life you were born to live and so that you can pay for the life you were born to live. All right. So here's what we covered yesterday. We covered your second empire code, your wealth code, AKA your sacred money archetypes. We also did this really deep dive into belief clearing, belief cleansing with a process I shared with you called the payoff inventory. So let me see either a raised hand or a yeah, I did it or a something in the chat if you did the payoff inventory exercise that was your May pot of the day yesterday. And like, let's just have a moment where we recognize how totally freaking deep that payoff inventory exercise was. Like, how deep was that for you guys? Because it was really deep for me. Um, and I saw a bunch of you posting on Facebook about it, and I want to just call out a couple of things that people said. Yolanda is talking about, actually, she's talking about her sacred money archetypes. She said she's an alchemist here. She had this kind of aha moment about the idea that all alchemists, as a trait of being an alchemist, you are talented at attracting money in unusual ways. And Yolanda was sharing some of the reactions she's had to people from, out in her world to that trait of her, where some people think she just does things differently. Some people think she's really good at landing on her feet and having fun. Some people think she's like irresponsible or unintelligent even, And so I had this note that I wrote for her about how it's one of the upgrades that's probably trying to come to her right now is the shedding of the shame and the stress that you end up operating in when you just have a money attracting operating system wired into who you be that is really, really freaking different than what culture says earning a living is supposed to look like. All right. So I challenge her with a couple of questions that I hope she finds to be like unlocks about leaning unapologetically into just who she is and seeing if that can help her even out some of the feast and famine. All right, Stephanie posted about the Day to May pod, which was the belief cleansing with through the payoff inventories, and so she talked about how something that came to mind for her were the lyrics of the OJ song "For the Love of Money." Do you guys know that song? She's talking about how when she was a kid, she, just must have heard the song enough times that it was ingrained in her mind. That song is intense. For the love of money, people will rob from their mother and kill their own brother. And it's really, really like actually negative. And she's talking about how, oh, that's interesting. Like I must have had some of this programming for decades. And so I just commented back, like, all of us need to pay attention to that because the media and music, the songs you hear or sing, if you've ever been in like spin class or working out and heard yourself singing the lyrics to a song that you didn't even know you knew just because you had heard it so many times, um, there's a reason that they call them media programs, right? They are programming messages within us, and we don't even always know that we're picking them up until we begin to really do what we did yesterday, which is to tune into what we're actually thinking. And then Gabrielle also had a comment about the payoff inventory. She said it brought her back. I think this is really relatable for many of us. It brought her back to a core struggle of not allowing herself to want what she really wants because she doesn't want to look like she's trying too hard, because she doesn't want to look unsuccessful or imperfect or desperate, even though what she really wants to do is this big thing. So she's been battling, there's this inner conflict between creating something new that's never been done before, which is going to involve you're not going to know how to do it. You may not look right all the time, and needing to feel and look perfect. All right. So that's a conflict that now that she's seen it, gets to dissolve, she gets to resolve. All right. So I just want to point out that as deep as this exercise feels, as deep as this challenge feels, y'all, this is the toe dip. That's it. This week is you dipping your toe. It's you getting the very first tasty morsel of the space that will open up, the relief that will open up, the results that will be created. Like Gabrielle says in her first comment here, she says, and like last night she did payoff inventory, and this morning, without her doing anything, she woke up to a message out of the blue from a former client who wants to re-sign with her. That's actually how it's done. It's not all about you swinging the hammer to build your empire. Some of it is about what will flow into you as you continue to do this work. And I'm telling you that this is just the very, very beginning, because there are all these other things that you will need to do to execute, to create the business empire of your soul, to create the wealth that you're born to live in. And it's really not that possible to be in full-blown breakthrough mode and fully in execution mode at the same time. So this is why, if you're on the VIP, you're hearing from people who've been in my programs for years, who've had multiple level ups, multiple new jobs, multiple big raises, multiple new coaching client, biggest client of my life after biggest client of my life coming in after biggest client of my life. You've been thinking these thoughts that you've been thinking for 40 years or 50 years or 60 years. So the deep transformation work that you need to do within, and the work that you're going to need to do to build your business empire, will take some time. It's deep. And that transformation work is what happens when we actually decide not to just dip our toe in these waters, but to like jump in this ocean of transformation together over a sustained period of time with an organized roadmap for you personally. And later on today, I'm going to tell you how we can do that together. Also, later on today, I'm going to make sure that I actually do the giveaway at the end of this session that I said I would do last time. I'm going to give away 2 Sacred Money Archetypes courses at the end of this session. Okay. So here's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to open your sacred space as we always do. And then I'm going to hand you some keys to your true purpose. For all of you who've ever had the thought, I'm just not really clear about what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm going to share with you how beginning to leverage the human design system not only clarified a lot of things for me about what I was building, it also clarified for me how I was designed to build them in ways that caused a 4x increase in my revenue in less than a year's time. Okay. Let's see, what are the numbers? In 2021, we did about $250,000 in revenue at Soltour. In 2022, we did that in a quarter. We did that in the first quarter, actually, of this year. In 2022, we had one weekend where we did $500,000. So this is not just about inner transformation. This is about inner transformation that unlocks the outer life that you were born to live. Then I'll give you a couple of invitations if you really do decide that this is not just going to be a week-long dabbling in the future that you could have, but you're going to go deeper and make a commitment to fall in love with your future and create that future with our help. And then I'll give you some homework, and then I'll do the giveaways, okay? All right. So close your eyes. Get settled where you are, feet flat on the ground. Body weight distributed equally across your butt cheeks. And let me open our sacred space together as we give thanks for this perfect day and this day in which miracles will follow miracles and wonders will never cease. We give thanks. I give thanks that I get to see and witness each and every one of you as the divine genius plan for your lives starts to unfold and unfurl right now, as the divine genius within you is unleashed. We now release all resistance to any element or stage of the divine genius plan for our lives, and we declare our knowing that every moment is an element. Every moment is a stage of that plan coming to life. We now tune ourselves to the channel of limitless love, infinite intelligence, the creative power that formed all worlds. We expand in happiness, success, and abundance today as we inspire those around us to do the same. We now open our own inner pipelines and our minds and our arms to receive everything this universe has for us. Today is a new day. We are fresh and new. May our brains come fully online. May our minds become fully alert and come into this present moment. May our souls become even 1 degree more awakened by the time we spend together, and may our hearts be in maximum receptive mode as we gather and learn today. And so it is. All is well in our world. All right. So I'm going to share a couple of little points from my own story so you can come to understand why I think understanding your true self, understanding your purpose through the lens specifically of the human design system is so powerful. So I'm going to start with the story of how I woke up from my core trance, which was trauma. I had a lot of childhood trauma. Many of you know that story. And I had done very much therapy on it. I had done decades of therapy on it. I had done EMDR. I had done all the somatic therapy work, PTSD work. And I was honestly operating in a pretty great way. Like my life was pretty high functioning. I was great. And then I got a surprise baby. And then the pandemic happened. And then my son was stabbed at the subway station by a probably mentally challenged or mentally ill homeless person and lost a bunch of organs. And it was super, super stressful, was in the hospital for 23 days. And then I had this dire medical diagnosis. And that probably all of that happened in like an 18-month period of time. And I felt what I knew because I had done so much PTSD recovery work and because I had taught so much about trauma. I was like, oh, this feeling, why do I feel this way? I'm right now in a perpetual state of being triggered. And I hadn't felt that way in a long time, that actively. And I realized, wait a second, this isn't from my old childhood trauma. This is all this fresh trauma. So as I was doing some of my medical treatments for the condition that I was diagnosed with, one of the doctors, just a medical doctor, happened to mention in conversation that she had had ketamine, medical intravenous ketamine treatment for her. I want to say she had clinical depression. And I was like, I should know about that, given the work that I do. So I investigated it and realized that intravenous ketamine was actually an indicated medical treatment for PTSD. So I won't tell the whole story of my ketamine journey now, but I have told it to many of you, and I will tell it again in the future. And I will tell you that it did heal my brain. And this is like not, I'm not talking about party drugs. I'm not talking about psychedelics in the backyard. I am talking about being in a medical doctor's office with an intravenous line of ketamine for PTSD, for diagnosed PTSD. And the best way I have ever heard to describe it I am told, comes from Michael Pollan, who said that psychedelic treatment for PTSD is something like fresh snow falling over the ruts in your brain. Fresh snow falling over the trauma-worn ruts in your brain. It was uh, it was like you've heard the saying, "Scales fell from your eyes." It was like, oh my goodness. I had been working for so many years on thinking I had the trance of fear or scarcity or unworthiness. And actually, my core trance was trauma. This is why we now have diagnostics for these things. I could see how I had been broadcasting motes out to keep help away and keep opportunities away. I could see the magnets I had been broadcasting to bring in the just wrong people. I could literally walk into a room and see people's fear on them. My entire lens shifted. I could see and energize opportunities in a really different way. I started to think really differently and speak differently and act differently without having to work hard at it. And that's the point. Like before, I was doing that with the power of my effort and reframes and all the tools I knew. After, I just had different thoughts, less traumatized thoughts and expectations from life. So things started to shift really rapidly for me. I started to get much, much, much more help at home and at school, because healing my brain actually was like the precursor to healing my heart. All right. I started to download this wild new vision of my life and of my family's life. This is when the farm by the beach vision, if you know anything about that, began to come to me. Part of that vision was to retool my business in a way that it would become not this hard hustle grind, like source of stress and angst and agitation, but it would become this vehicle for my self expression. It would become this easeful, not effortless, but easeful engine of profit and transformation for both me and my customers. All right. My signal got really freaking clear. And I started attracting in both the right people, including people that you know from my team now, like Lori. Um, I started attracting in bodies of work that were exactly what I needed to hear in that moment. And I was totally and utterly unresistant to receive them. So, someone in that time mentioned human design to me. And I had heard about human design for years and resisted learning about it for years. In that time, I read everything I could find about it. I went down the rabbit hole. I actually started to get certified as a human design specialist, and now I'm a level 2 specialist. I didn't just read the book about how to be an empowered projector. I hired the woman who wrote it to be my own reader and started to really dive deep into my chart. That woman, who is an expert on the projector type in the human design system, as she read my chart, which took her probably like 4.5 hours total to do, we went over the human design basics, some of which I'll go over with you today. My type, my strategy, my authority, my profile. But then we got deeper into things like my gates. Your gates in your human design chart are kind of like entry and exit points for archetypal patterns of energy. Okay, they're energies that you have access to more or less reliably, depending on how whether they're defined or not in your chart. And she said, wow, you have the gate of 50, the gate 51 for you is defined. That is the gate of shock. It's part of your destiny to live shocking experiences and to shock other people into reconnection with their own divinity. I was like, wow, that's literally my business. She says, you have defined gate 26, the gate of the marketer or the gate of the sacred salesperson. And you also have defined gate 56, which is the gate of the storyteller. So she said, when you begin to tell your own life stories in your marketing, these two things go together, your business will unlock. She was like, everything about Soul Tour sounds kind of like it's here in your chart. And at the time, as I've shared with you before, I owned a gym, a franchise gym. And I remember very clearly asking her, like, okay, Evelyn, so tell me about the gym. What about the gym? And she was like, what gym? And I was like, I own a gym. Here's the contours of it. I actually would really love some advice on how to, be with respect to it. And she was like, I joke, and I'm going to say this my way. She didn't say it this way. She basically was like, ain't no gym in your chart, girl. Like, I don't know where you got that from, but that's not in here. Right. And so this is me starting to tell you, starting to sketch for you the universe of what's possible in terms of direction for creating the business that aligns with, is congruent with, expresses fully, and celebrates fully who you really are with the power of the human design system. So, if you fast forward at about 6 months from the time I started to really surrender to using my human design to make my decisions and to run my business, I had started to just work much less, as indicated by my chart. I had started to delegate about 80% of my work to team. I had shifted my offerings, who I hire, who I work with as clients. I had changed a lot about the way I was parenting. I had gotten much more help. I had started to charge more in my business because I needed to pay for all of that. And again, in my effort to get better at storytelling, because that was part of my chart, I went to a storytelling workshop and a marketing storytelling workshop. And the woman who ran that actually kind of like plucked me out of this group and asked me what my live event was. And I told her I didn't have a live event in my business. I didn't really understand how people did that or why they did that. And she and I worked together to create the event that is now called Upgrade, our annual event. And it became one of our signature marketing assets, right? So we built this entire signature engine in my business, starting with a signature system that I got crystal clear on and created after I woke up from my core trance, translating that into two signature marketing assets, my book, Aligned to Millions, and the event Upgrade, and created all of those things around this hub, this flywheel of a signature offer, which is my Empires of the Soul program. And with that, we went from, like I said, in 2021, let me get the numbers right. 2021, we were at 250K for the year. 2023, we're at 250K for the first quarter. We were at 500,000 in the weekend at Upgrade last year. You can see the power of this, right? I want this for you too. And so to get you on that path to creating the empire of your soul, we've already done some recalibration work to your waking you up from your core trance, or beginning to doing the toe dip, right? We've already done some shaking you out of your money blocks with the sacred money archetypes. And now we're going to do a little work in step 2, actualization, right? Understanding who you really are and why you're really here, not just for shits and giggles, as they say, but for the purpose of creating these aligned signature assets in your business. All right. I want you to have a business that lights you up as you do it, that energizes you as you go, that you're eager and excited and enthusiastic to get to do in the morning. Okay. So let's talk about human design. Actually, let me check the chat really quick because it's been a minute since I've checked it. Okay, great. Great. Okay, awesome. And yes, you're welcome for sharing for the share. I like to share. I think it helps you know how I'm thinking about what to do, what you do with this material, right? And know this, I basically never teach a system that I didn't use to very profound transformational effect in my own life and my own business first. That's just how it goes. And that's actually written in my chart too. I'm not going to go into the details of why here. Maybe we will at Upgrade. But that's just the truth. I'm kind of an explorer out here on this edge, bringing you the things that I experiment with many things, and then I cherry pick them, the ones that super work, and bring them to you guys. All right, so this is my human design chart. You can see why at first times, the first 10, 12, 100 times I heard about human design, I was like, nah, fam, I'm real good. Because the chart looks kind of crazy. This body graph looks crazy. There's all these squiggles and symbols. And I was like, it's just too much. The reality is that human design is a very specific, it is a very complex system, and it is a very specific system. Okay. If sacred money archetypes are like a snapshot of who you are and your energies, human design is like a film and a GPS system and a digital roadmap and the road on the blockchain. It is like another level of specificity and direction. It is very directive. It tells you what to do. Remember how I said the archetypes are symbolic? You have to interpret them using myth and symbol and stories. You don't have to do that with human design. It just tells you what to do. Okay. In human design, there are 5 types. Your type is basically how you interface with the field of possibilities available to you in the world, right? Each of us are born with a unique configuration of energies in us. And your human design chart is your sort of directory to those energies. The energies in your human design chart influence the way that you make decisions, influence the way that you make choices. When you make your decisions and choices in ways that are aligned with the energies and the strategies from your human design chart, the choices that you make are better for you and work out in ways that you love. When you don't make your decisions in ways that are aligned with your human design chart, it doesn't mean there is anything bad, wrong, broken, flawed that needs fixing or morally, wrong about you. It's just the case that you are less likely to love the choices that you make. Okay. The choices that you make are not likely to result in results that you love if your choices are not aligned with your human design chart and strategy. Okay. Let's see. So there are, just to give you a glimpse of how this is just a toe dip we're doing today. There are 5 types in human design. There are 4 authorities. There are 9 human design energy centers, and they correspond roughly to the 7 chakras of the Hindu system, which brings up a good point. The human design system is an amalgamation. It is a synthesis of other ancient wisdom systems. Okay, it is not like they say somebody just made this up, and I can tell you about that guy later. But it is a synthesis of the Chinese I Ching, the Book of Changes, the Hindu chakra system, and the Kabbalah Tree of Life. In human design, there are 12 profiles. There are 36 channels. There are 64 gates. There are 198 incarnation crosses. There are 768 incarnation cross variations. You could spend lifetimes just learning how to get good at working your own energies, but I'm not going to ask you to. Oh, yes, it's directions for how to do something different than you've been doing and love the results you get. And your human design is like the rewritten, upgraded story of you. I'm not going to ask you to spend lifetimes. I'm going to tell you that you can change your life, literally, for the way better in a matter of a year using what I call the life-changing magic of low-hanging fruit. That is your type, your strategy, and your authority. Okay, so I'm going to touch on these things today. I want you to remember our talk yesterday. There's no need to have any judgment about them. Here's the deal. Most of us were conditioned, many of us, not most of us, many of us were conditioned or taught to live and work in a way that is against our actual type. So you might not like your type at first. That's just conditioning, okay? So no type is better or worse than any other type. There is nothing, no broke. There's no gate of broke. There's no gate of poverty. That's not a thing in the human design chart. Every kind of type can have money. And like archetypes, we all have some of all the energies in the chart. All right. Note that some people actually, when they start to understand their human design, they can get a little bit upset actually that they were not parented more in better alignment with who they really are. So just know that's a thing that comes up. It tends to be a little less of a blow if you know that it's a thing that comes up. And I will just put this, in our programs, we talk about everything, and I do talk a fair amount about parenting for those who that's relevant to. One of the very best one of the best uses of the human design system is to parent your children or your inner child, to reparent your inner child. Each type in the human design system has what I call an empire creation code. Okay. It has a unique purpose, like unique traits. It has a success strategy, which is kind of like a rule for how to know when you should move toward opportunities, how to make decisions, and how to discern which opportunities to go after or not. And then it's a little like we talked about with the archetypes. Each trait in your human design chart is like a stick with two ends. Okay. There is a sort of a highest expression gauge that shows when you're in alignment with your design and your true self. This is what it'll feel like and look like. And then there's a lowest expression gauge, which is kind of like a misalignment indicator. It's an indicator that your conditioning or your not self, not who you really are, is running the show. All right. So I'm going to dive through and go through these. And for each one, I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip, just a little tip. Later, come into Empires, come to Upgrade. I'll give you a whole entire download. But for today, we'll give you a little bit of a tip on how to do business as these individual types. Okay. All right. The generator type. 70% of humans are either generators or the subtype or hybrid type manifesting generators. Generators, my daughter is a generator. Generators and projectors, which I am, actually are kind of like a puzzle piece fit, so we tend to go together. Generators are the powerhouse. Think like energy generator. Almost envision like you have a generator, an electricity generator of life force within you if you're a generator. And your homework for today is going to be to discover your type, okay? Generators are beings of limitless energy and life force. They are passionate builders and creators in our world. They have this incredibly sustainable source of energy with them that is literally a direct connection to the creative power of Source. And it stays on as long as they're doing their passion projects or giving some time to their passion projects. Doesn't have to be that their passion is how they make their living, but they do need to be doing their passion projects. Generators and manifesting generators both have this interesting trait we call the stair-step learning curve. This is to say that when a generator or manifesting generator is learning anything or mastering anything or going through life in general, their relationship with whatever it is that they're learning will have these sort of big breakthrough moments and then these plateaus. They will have huge surges in mastery and then plateaus. And because generators and manifesting generators both love momentum and speed and action, the plateaus make them feel very stuck and frustrated. They will be tempted to quit whatever it is that they're trying to master on the plateau. Generators and manifesting generators both have the very strong urge to retreat right on the brink of their breakthroughs. Okay. So your job as a generator is to not quit. It's to not bail on the process. It's to know that all you're doing when you're in a plateau is building energy. It's your job to wait for the breakthrough and the surge and mastery. The generator success strategy is really like it's a decision making tool and a right timing tool. So if you as a generator have a brilliant idea or even just want to make a small decision in your life, your strategy is to wait for something to happen in the outside world to respond to. And it'll probably be something like a sign. Literally, it can be a billboard, it can be a Facebook ad, it can be a signal, can be a suggestion or a synchronicity. So I had a client the other day say, I said to her, I want you to find a yoga she's a celebrity yoga teacher. I said, I want you to find a yoga studio to teach this material at for a workshop. And she goes, oh wait, actually this studio just called me. This like very fancy studio just called me and asked me if I had a workshop idea the other day. That's a synchronicity. That's a sign. That's a signal. That's a suggestion. So I was like, great. All right. Now, no one likes to wait, but generators don't have to wait long. Okay. They're getting signs all the time. When you're aligned, when you're aligned as a generator because you're feeling satisfaction. When you're not in alignment because you're feeling frustration. It often comes from creating from your head instead of your heart. Creating from your head, pushing too hard, initiating too much instead of responding. If you are a generator, your job is to focus and your job is to find your projector. Generators and projectors go together. Projectors have a unique ability to see into generators and to see their potentials and exactly what it would take them to fulfill their potentials. Find your projector. And a pro tip for generators is to respond not just to the things that light you up. I find that everybody's good at responding to the things that make them excited. But a lot of times the things generators are meant to respond to are the things that make them roll their eyes. They see someone else less qualified than them out in the world or on social media teaching like their material poorly. If you see that and it makes you be like, ugh, I find a lot of generators will back off when they should put the gas on. That means you should bring your offering out into the world. All right, manifestors. Manifestors are the initiators of our world. Think of them like movie producers. Their job is to start the ball rolling and initiate things, but their job is not to build the thing all the way out. They can borrow energy from generators temporarily, but they cannot maintain the same quality of energy as a generator can. They will have spurts of energy, okay? But they cannot and should not be trying to do long hauls of work without cycles of deep rest in between, okay? I tell this story about this guy I met once, Brian Lee, who is the CEO of a bunch of very well-known companies in the Valley when I was in Silicon Valley. And when I met him, I was like, what's your deal? And he was like, oh, I take companies from 0 to 300 million and then I'm out. Like, I don't run the morning culture meetings. I don't know. He's like, I just get them started and then I go. So that's the manifestor in general. They should get things started. Manifestors will be getting these impulses and signals and sparks from the divine, these ideas to initiate all the time. And it usually for them goes straight from feeling to action, not feeling to telling people to action. So the job of a manifestor is actually to wait for two things and two things only. Like, it's your job to initiate things, okay? But you need to wait for that click of inner alignment and resonance. And then you need to wait to inform the people around you, whether it's in your home or in your company or in your, team at work. You need to inform them of what you're about to do. And you're not actually informing them to ask for permission or approval or opinions. You're informing them so that they can get out of your way. Because as a manifestor, especially as children, manifestors are constantly stopped. Because people are like, imagine you're a manifestor kid and you get the spark to go down the street. Kids they just go. And they often get in trouble for it, sometimes really severely, because it's scary to parents that their children are just like moving and going places without them. So manifestors actually have a little bit of a bad rap. as being angry people. I don't think it's anger. I call it the disruption eruption. They're getting this download of energy to go do something, and people around them, because they're not used to informing the people around them are stopping them. And that disruption kind of bottles up the disruption of their creative impulse kind of bottles up all that electricity, and it creates these outbursts that seem like anger but are actually this disruption eruption. So the manifestor strategy is to inform other people before taking action. What I've found is that as you mature as a manifestor, when you start informing people, they often will offer you help. And you'll need it, because remember, it's not your job to do the job all the way through. You know when you're aligned as a manifestor because you experience like a pervasive backdrop of peace and power. So here's how you upgrade your life and business as a manifestor: is you start something and then you delegate it and rest so you can start the next thing. And as a pro tip for you, if you're a manifestor in business, stop trying to force yourself to follow through. It is not your job. Okay. You do manifestors, projectors, there are a couple of us, you kind of have to have a team of some sort. You got to figure it out. And there are lots of ways we can help you figure it out. Okay. Manifesting generator. This is the buy one, get one type. It's the only buy one, get one type. We like in quantum human design, we call these time benders. Because they have that manifestor internal nonverbal creative spark that they need to follow. And there's a speed to manifesting generators. They're fast. They can skip steps. Manifesting generators need the freedom in their lives and their businesses to follow that flow. Okay. So here's the challenge. Because you are a manifesting generator, you may have the desire and tendency to want to initiate. But because you are truly a generator type, manifesting generators are generators at heart, not manifestors at heart. They're generators with a little manifestor in it. Okay. Because you are a generator, you actually need to wait for things to show up in your external world before you take action. You're waiting for those signs, you're waiting for those signals, you're waiting for those suggestions. And you also need to wait until you inform the people around you of what you're doing so they can stay out of your way, so they can keep up with you. And just so, to set the energy, to prepave the way so you can have a smooth way. It just takes some practice and some training to learn how to inform people the way that I'm talking about. You'll know when you're out of alignment as a manifesting generator because you'll feel angry and frustrated. And you'll know when you're in alignment because you will feel the sweetness of satisfaction. One thing I will say about manifesting generators is that it's okay for y'all to have a lot of projects or even multiple businesses going on at one time. They've often been told to slow down, to pick one thing, to focus. But manifesting generators are actually designed to have many irons in the fire. Not all of them have to bear fruit. Not all of them will be successful. But it's important to stay in that, to follow the flow when you get those signs, signals, suggestions, and synchronicities, just to keep your energy field alive and going. So for manifesting generators, and the deal is this, guys, a lot of the types will have that kind of shiny object syndrome, desire to be doing lots of things at one time. I told you I used to have that, right? I had 3 companies at one point. So just having that desire doesn't mean you're a manifesting generator. Manifesting generators are the one type that should go with it. Okay. So the upgrade for mangens is to resist the urge to initiate things without responding to something outside of yourself. And the business pro tip for mangens is to stop trying to make yourself focus on just one thing, even though you've been told that. Instead, why don't you use your multitasking to actually develop multiple income streams? Y'all are the ones that wisdom is for. Okay. Projectors. So the projector is like the movie director. Their job is to guide people, to manage people, to direct others. Projectors have this unique ability to actually project their aura out into other people and to see their potentials, to feel, see, taste the potential. They can see what is blocking people from fulfilling their potential. They can recognize what people need to do to fulfill their potential. They know what needs to happen. It is very natural for projectors to want to tell people what they should do because they desire to see fulfillment of potential. One of the upgrades for you if you're a projector is to stop telling people what to do who have not asked you or don't value your opinion about what to do. Okay. So as a projector, your success strategy is actually to master systems, go deep in those rabbit holes, get all the degrees that you want, get all the certifications you want. Again, that would not be good advice for other types. That's good advice for projector. To put that mastery out into the world and then to wait for invitations. Wait for invitations to make the big moves in your business, in your life, and wait for invitations from people to guide you, right? Like everyone in my programs who's paid for a program has expressly invited my guidance. So my guidance turns way on, my energy turns way on and comes way up when someone has invited me because they value my guidance to give them that guidance. Okay. You need the invitation because you need to partner with someone else who has that energy. That's why projectors and generators go together so well, because generators bring the energy. Projectors need that energy in their world. Projectors have that guidance. But listen, projectors ain't here to manage and guide everybody. They are here to manage and guide people that are specifically configured into that puzzle piece fit. Okay. So projectors are supposed to master systems, put that mastery out into the world and wait for invitations. Projectors get very burned out from trying to work like other people, and they'll get very bitter over time if they keep giving their advice and guidance to people who do not value it. But when projectors learn how to rest and self-care and value themselves and only give their advice to people who request it and value it, they find great success. Okay. If you're a projector, speaking is your superpower. So marketing for a projector can look like teaching like I'm doing, podcasts, public speaking, all of that stuff. But stop giving advice unless and until you are invited to give it. Here's the deal. Projectors, without trying to, are projecting their aura into the people who they're giving guidance to. A lot of people do not want to be seen at that level of fidelity or are not ready for it. So it comes off as very invasive and intrusive if you're giving advice that people don't value or want. So a projector business pro tip is to use these time leverage strategies around creating evergreen classes and evergreen content, and then have a little bit of one-on-one in your business, because there is a beautiful energy exchange and energizing exchange that happens for projectors when you're one-on-one with the right people. Okay. Last is reflector. Reflectors are just 1% of the human population. They are the sort of barometer or cosmic mirror of how the rest of the world, how the community that they're in is evolving. Okay. They are also big possibility seers, but they tend to be good at holding space and reflecting potential back. All right. It can be really challenging to be a reflector in this world right now. These are your people who feel energy so sensitively that they get sick before the earthquake, or before the war starts or whatever. So these are the people you will hear people say, be a screen, not a sponge. They need to learn to sort of allow other people's energy to come in and out and not absorb it. The success strategy for a reflector is actually to take time to make their decisions. Literally, they need 28 days, like a full month, to make especially big decisions. But reflectors really need time to make all decisions, to be honest. And because they see so many, they see so much potential in others, they can often experience disappointment if they're not in the right place around the right people. They fall in love with that potential, and it's really disappointing to them to witness unfulfilled potential. When they're around the right people, in the right place, taking the right time to make their decisions, they often experience surprise and delight even. So, reflectors have to learn how to be screens, not sponges, and they should be doing their marketing in and to healthy groups. These are the people who should have a Facebook group, who should join Toastmasters and what's that, BNI or whatever that thing is called. So you can see this is again the tip of the iceberg about human design and how to use it. There's so much other wealth of richness in your chart, in how you're designed for your business. Like your profiles help you understand how to connect with and communicate to your clients. Um, your open centers and defined centers help you know where your wisdom is and how to process other people's energies. Your planets give you guidance on your business purpose and your calling and your destiny, your why, who you're here to serve, all of that. So, what do you do with this? You reflect on your life. You don't have to take my word for it. Once you learn your type, reflect on your life and see. My experience was I reflected on my life and I saw, wow, all the stuff that really worked out for me was when I was mastering systems, putting the mastery in the world, and getting invitations and following invitations. And the stuff that didn't work out for me, that should have, according to the conventional wisdom, was when I wasn't following my strategy. What do you do next? Do the upgrades that I suggested to you and the upgrades that I will teach you if you come to upgrade or if you come into one of the programs like Empires of the Soul. And then what I desire, what I did that changed my business and truly changed like my family's history and trajectory was I started with my human design and my empire creation code and all these empire codes. And I began to translate them into this single golden thread of alignment that ran through my whole business. So it went from my empire codes into my best fit customer clarity, turned that into my signature system, okay? Turned that into signature offer, turned that into signature marketing assets, okay? These are the things that we show you how to do in any of these programs. I'm going to ask you to take a first step down the path of creating your own signature system tonight for your homework, though, okay? And I just want you, if you're wondering, like, what is a signature system, Tara? Your signature system is just a way to transform what you do in your business into something that looks and feels organized and tangible and powerful so that you can talk really clearly about what you do and so that you can magnetize in or attract the exact right people, your best fit customers, the people you love to work with, who love you, who also know that they have money to pay you for the work that you do and are willing to pay it to you. That's how I define best fit customer. Okay, so we will help you begin to take the first step of that in your homework. And I just wanted to share like the real world, what this looks like, what the outcomes of this stuff that we're doing here looks like in the end. This is an email I got from my client, Gwen Berlamy. She's an engineer. She has a couple of companies, but they're all in the engineering space. And this was right after we started working together. Maybe we'd worked together a month or two. And she's like, this huge whirlwind of change has happened and it's still happening. I just got some big projects. But then look at the bottom. She's like, here's the money, like 51K in September, 57K in October, or 51K in August, 57K in September. October is looking great. I didn't think I was possible. Gwen was in business as an engineer 25 years before we started working together. And she's on this kind of a trajectory now. Okay, so it's not just airy fairy dust. This is another email from my client, Deepa, who some of you'll probably know, Deepa Purushothaman. She's a very well-known author now. And she sent me this when she first got her book deal. And she just says she had left this very high-paying job to do this journey of starting the empire of her soul. And she sold her book deal for 6 figures to Harper's business. And she tells a little about the deal. And then she says, it's happening. Thank you for your help. This is the empire of her soul. This is her book, The First, the Few, and the Only. She just launched a course on LinkedIn for women of color in corporate. This is her giving a talk on the main stage at TED. Who called her, by the way, talking about manifesting and attracting. And this is what she wrote about how when she started her soul tour with me, she was leaving up her job to do something new. And now the fear is gone. And she just talks about some of the results that she received. Um, Including some of the daily work that we do together in these programs. And she says she shifted her entire life and who she is as a person in less than 6 months, in big part due to this daily work that we do together. She literally moved to a new town, sold a house, started a new business, sold her book. She said she changed everything but her husband, which I am happy about because he is awesome. Okay, so let's just recap really quickly what we've learned so far. Um, you know that you're a powerful creator. You know that you came here to create the empire of your soul. You know that you have to recalibrate, actualize, and align to do that. And what we've done so far in the challenge is a little taste of recalibration and a little taste of actualization. What you saw in those testimonials from clients is what happens when the alignment stage happens. You start getting book deals. You start increasing your revenues every month. You start 4Xing your income. Okay. So we've learned your inner voice code, which is your core trance, and how to wake up from it. We've learned what money wanted and needed to communicate to you. We've learned your wealth code with the sacred money archetypes. You've learned a process for unlearning your limiting money beliefs and your business blocks. You've learned your purpose code, which is your human design, or you will learn it tonight. And you've learned some tips for how to create a business that aligns with your design. That's the kind of business I call the empire of your soul. It's built with empire energetics. These are the metaphysics and laws of spiritual economics, not hard hustle and grind. Okay. Empires of the soul are built with your empire codes and signature offers, signature marketing, signature systems. And the final cornerstone of the empire of your soul is just you in radical alignment with who you came here to be. All right. And we do all this not for the fun of it. We do this so that you can live the whole life that you were born to live, which is the life of health and wealth and wisdom and self-expression. So usually around this stage of the day of the challenge is when people are like, whew, I've got all this energy. I feel like I can do anything right now. And you can. And the biggest danger you face when you leave this room today, this challenge in 2 days, is, remember we talked about that wave of energy? See, we're still midweek. This is why I'm telling you this right now. You're still just at the peak of the wave. Okay. No, maybe not even. Maybe tonight or tomorrow is like the peak of the wave. But then what happens with a wave if you don't? The wave will dissipate unless you put yourself in a process or do something to make sure that you sustain the transformation that you're sparking right now. Okay. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and I'd love for you to answer them in the chat. Would you say that you now know more about how you've been blocking your money flow than you did 3 days ago? Yes or no? Yes or yes? Come into the chat. Awesome. All right, guys, this is awesome. Do you feel that you now know how your self-sabotage patterns are putting an electric fence around your business and your life, keeping them smaller than your destiny for greatness actually is? Yes or yes? I see yes and yes. Awesome. Do you feel like you've started to learn and apply some really powerful techniques to break the pull of those self-sabotage patterns, those maypods? Definitely. Awesome. Oh, yes, definitely. Yes, and yes, yes. Awesome. Ooh, Raya Light. Beautiful. Okay. And are you starting to be aware of what money wants and needs in order to flow more abundantly into your business and your bank account? Are you more aware of what money wants and needs from you? Okay, so if I tell you that I have created a couple of things that will allow you not just to unblock your money flow, but they will actually allow you to grow your business and live the life you were born to live. Do you want to hear, would you like to hear a little bit about that? So I've actually got two things for you. And actually, as I get to that slide, these are just, I know sometimes people think that it's just Tara. Tara's magical. That happens in her life. That doesn't, I don't know if that can happen for me. I've already shown you two people that's happening for. I'm going to show you Tony too, who says, I never would have guessed that this created this level of metamorphosis. I'll show you Meredith, who says, I used to be a perfectionist and now, I've started my own, she started her own empire. The content was important in doing it, but also being connected to this expansion energy was what really mattered. This is Andrea. Some of you know her. Andrea was making about $1 million a year when she came in, and she's at $3 million a year and climbing now, while writing a big ass book, directing a play, and now we're working on expanding her empire to include a media company. And all of these other people too, you guys. There is a protocol for this. It's not just me. We did it. You can do it too. So at Soul Tour, we are creating the breeding grounds for the next generation of transformational business empires of the soul. We have cracked the code on how to get your empire out of your soul and into the world without damaging your self-worth and without years of hesitation and self-doubt and lost opportunities. So my first invitation to you is actually to come co-create your empire with us. All right. I want you to, I don't have to go through all of this. Just know, I'm not a fan of cookie cutter business coaching. I'm not a fan of coaches being like, do exactly what I do and you'll get exactly what I get, because that does not work, because what's aligned to you and what's aligned to them may be very different. So even if you think you have all of these problems between you and your business, the only problem you actually have is an alignment problem. All right. And that's why I created Empires of the Soul. It is a beautiful sacred space and a fully integrated business and personal growth roadmap that helps you come into life mastery, self-mastery, money mastery, and business mastery, so you can get your business empire out of your soul and into the world using the tools that I have used to build really big companies, and the tools that I used when I was piloting this program. I worked with 12 people, small business owners, individually for like 2 years. And I just taught them individual pieces of what I now teach in Empires. Those 12 people collectively experienced a $14 million increase in revenue in that time. Okay. This stuff works not just for me. So if you want to learn more about Empires of the Soul and whether you should be in it, I'm going to put a code here. Empires of the Soul. You can click the code on your screen if you see it. You don't see it because it's not showing up. There. You can click that code, or you can go to soultour.com/breakthrough call and just book a call with Lori. I'll just be real. Sometimes I don't even, I have heard in the last 2 days, 2 different people tell me that between their call with Lori and the time they came into the program, they got a raise or got the biggest client of their lives. So I don't know, if I were you, I would take that call and I would do what she says, because I do what she says. She helped change my business. So I'm just previewing for you that what she's going to say. If you are the right fit we don't really do hard sells, okay? But if you're the right fit, and that's mostly what the call is about understanding whether you're the right fit where you are in your business, what we do, seeing if it makes sense, and if so, inviting you into the right program for you. So Emerging Empires is the program for people who either are just starting their businesses or are currently doing less than $250,000 a year in revenue Empires Collective is where we have our 250,000 a year plus. We have $1 million people, $2 million people, $3 million people in there. And we've added so many things to these programs since I put these slides together. I don't even really want to go through them. Lori will talk with you about what's there. Just soultour.com/breakthrough call. Okay. They're both now, they used to be, one was a 12-month program, one was a 4-month program. Now they're all 12-month programs. We are now enrolling. We only have a few slots. So book your call. Okay, that's Empires. The second, importantly, I am offering a Manifest Challenge bonus to those 3 people who get those slots, basically, who come from this challenge. You'll get 3 hours of one-on-one VIP time with me to break it. You'll break it up across the year. But that matters because it's actually expensive. You know, a 6-hour day with me is a $25,000 a day. So 3 hours with me is a $12,000 value. And I think people get way more value out of it than even that. Okay. So just know that that is only going to be there's going to be 3 people who get it. There'll be people who are in this challenge. There are 61 people on this call. If you want it, you should book that call. Oh, also, just know the vision for the timing of all of this was that we would have this challenge to get your momentum spark some big progress. Those of you who are coming to upgrade, then we'll have this couple of weeks to keep doing some work. And we have a bunch of pre-work that we're doing. We'll start soon with upgrade people. Then you can come to upgrade, get ready for your whole next year, and then you can have a whole year of progress. So my idea is actually, if you are on this challenge right now and you end up enrolling in one of our programs, upgrade is actually included, right? Your ticket to upgrade is included with your tuition to any of our business coaching programs. So you're kind of getting like 15 months. You're getting like 15 months of transformation instead of just 12 if you enroll right now. And I had one woman who did this last year, I had several women who did this last year, but I had one woman in particular who did it, who between the time she signed up and the time she came to upgrade, she's a coach, she sold 4. She used her bonus call with me. We worked it out. She sold 4 of a $60,000 offer between October 1st week and October 3rd week. So get it. Get after it. All right. Way to go deeper. Number 2 is to come to upgrade. It's just to come to upgrade. Let me see if I can walk you guys through some of what goes down at upgrade, because it's kind of amazing. It's actually very amazing. Let's see. I'm going to show you. So the upgrade code, or how you get to upgrade, is you go to, here we go. I'm going to take that one down and I'm going to add this clear. And I'm going to add the code to upgrade here for you. If you want the quick link to get to, didn't look like it changed, show. There you go. Quick link to get to the upgrade site. It's soultour.com/upgrade. There's also a QR code there. I think you can click that link. I'm going to share the upgrade site. If I can. Okay, here we go. All right. All right, so this is soultour.com/upgrade. Upgrade is amazing. It's a vibe. It is literally a vibration raise. It is a 3-day fully integrated self-mastery and strategic business growth journey in the room, in the flesh, in person, in Berkeley, California, with me, you, and Lori, and a bunch of the other people who are on this call. Upgrade is for you if you know that it's actually just time. It's time to just start being your big self. It's time to start breathing life into your business empire. It's called Upgrade Your Business, Your Money, and Your Life, because that's what we do in that room, is upgrade your business, your money, and your life. On the page, you'll see there's like a little highlight reel that someone shot, actually a student shot. She's amazing. She's a global director of artistry and education for Pat McGrath makeup. So she literally flew from Paris Fashion Week last year doing Naomi Campbell's makeup to Upgrade and shot this video and then was just like posting it on our Instagram. I'm like, there's no way. We don't have a better video than that. Just know that right now you do have code all caps mastery. If you go to soultour.com/upgrade to buy your ticket, right now we're still on the early bird price, which is $697. And that code manifest, all caps, code manifest gets you $200 off that ticket. The other thing to know is that the hotel has a discounted room rate for you that expires in 2 days on Friday of this week, Friday, October 6th. So if you're coming to Upgrade, you need to and this is actually the shit or get up. It's not the last moment, but the price is only going to go up from here and the hotel room price is only going to go up for here. So yeah, I built this for you if you are an entrepreneur who wants to expand your business into an empire. People come to Upgrade who know that they have been doing cookie cutter or copycat business and marketing strategies. They've been working too hard to prove their worth. They've been self-sabotaging their own dreams to have a business or to have a business of a certain size. And they're ready to do the longer term work, the intensive work, get in the room for 3 days, take a sacred pause, stop reacting, tap back into your natural strengths and powers. That's who Upgrade is for, okay? And let's see, I'm gonna keep telling you you're a powerful creator because you are. It's true. Let's see. I want to share with you a little bit about the actual agenda for Upgrade. Well, actually, so one thing I wanted to make sure that I say, and I don't know if I've said it yet, is that I'm not just teaching you to live this radically aligned life because it feels good. It feels really good because it feels freaking delicious to live the way you were designed to live. The self-respect that you dwell in when you live like this is next level. No more like feeling like you're smiling on the outside, but kind of crying all the time on the inside. None of that. No, we don't play that here. The reality happens to be that the more aligned your business is to your sacred self, your sacred gifts, your human design, your empire codes, the more energized you'll feel, the more you'll love your life, and the more money you will make. I'm not sure who's actually trying to call me on WhatsApp right now. Let me just check and make sure that's not a kid thing. It is a kid thing. Okay. All right. I think we're good. All right. So, so yeah, you'll actually make more money too. Like you'll make more money more effortlessly in your business, the more aligned your business is to who you really are. All right. So you should join us. The people who came last year said it was perfect for people who want to identify their blocks, get the tools to break through them. Jackie Davies said she's excited to do everything now. People got their passion back. People felt like their internal clutter was just kind of cleared away. People rode a high for weeks and months. I literally had a coaching call Monday night with someone whose business was already really successful. And she's like, you really cannot imagine the level of transformation that I've experienced for the better in just this year since we've been working together, since Upgrade. Let me show you the agenda. And then we're going to do homework and giveaways, and then we'll do VIP. Okay, so agenda, before you arrive, we have a bunch of stuff we're gonna do, right? You're gonna meet your fellow upgraders, you're gonna connect with your upgrade buddy. We have a group pre-call with me. You'll get a digital copy of the Align to Millions book to start working through if you haven't already. On day one, we're doing a bunch of deeper, more intensive than we've had a chance to do here, recalibration and actualization work. You also have an opening performance and ceremony, an opening night mingler, so you meet people. One of the things about Upgrade, we talk a lot about the teaching and instruction that happens, but people leave with their own new success squad. Like you leave with a whole bunch of new friends who are like you, spiritual and ambitious, on a path to mastery. All right. Day two is alignment day. Okay. We actually work a systematic 7 alignment system. And we start kind of getting deeper into this idea of signature assets. All right. So, day two is a day where you start to get really fresh vision and document that vision for your business and your life. And on day three, we turn on the engine in your empire. I mean, you'll start to be able to borrow some of the members of my team. You'll start learning about, who it is that helps support me and helps support the growth of Soul Tour and how you can get support from them too. And we'll actually start to build out your 7-figure signature system, your signature marketing assets. And I'll share with you about using money-making live events, growth books, and brand books to build a business. Many of you have, if you have a business, you've thought about writing a book or you've thought about having a live event, but you didn't know how to do it in a way that made sense for the business. You will leave Upgrade knowing how to do it in a way that makes sense for your business. Okay. So that's Upgrade. Soultour.com/upgrade. Use code manifest. I'm going to go back to sharing that deck because I want to make sure I get the homework right. Code manifest for $200 off. Okay, here's your homework. Number 1, pull your human design chart. There's a link in your email, and I think it goes onto your Facebook too for your human design chart. Number 2 is start your signature system. There is a link in your email I actually guide you through a few questions to start that. Number 3, I actually switched up your Maypod for today. We will do a Ho'oponopono money walk tomorrow. Today, I want you to do an exercise I call creating a brighter future. So we're going to do that today. And then homework number 4 is to share your experience in the Facebook group. Giveaways. We're giving away two people will receive access to the Sacred Money Archetypes course. And Anna, can you help me figure out who they should be, my love? I'm going to look too. Yeah. Sacred Pause in California is a good vibe. Okay, let's see. Oh, Selenia, great. You booked your ticket. Yes. Did you book your ticket or did you book your call? Either one, I'm glad. Okay, so let's say we give one to, hey, Tinashe is here. Y'all are about to see a lot of him, by the way. Okay, so let's see. Ashley, I'm not sure if, Ashley, how about you get one access to the Sacred Money Archetypes as one of the giveaways? I'm just looking back at the chat. Your comments are pretty great, Ashley. Oh, hey, I see some great people here I haven't seen around in a long time. So I'm talking about Ashley with a Y, and then I'm going to say, I'm not sure who Mortgage Training is, but if you want to make yourself known, Mortgage Training, come maybe email us at support@soultour.com and we'll get you hooked up. Um, and we'll figure out. I'm sure that like don't 5 people please don't email and say, "Oh, my handle is mortgage training." Somebody's actual Facebook handle is mortgage training. So whoever that person is, um, introduce you. Actually, let us know what your name is right now would be really helpful. Um, Stephanie. Stephanie, what's your last name, Stephanie? It just helps us so we can literally send you access right now. And you can, if you need to, send it in private chat or something. Okay, great. I am loving this. People are like booking their calls. Hey, Katie, Stephanie Graham. Perfect. Yeah, people are booking their calls. People are booking their tickets. Be people, be one of them people. Okay, so VIPs, I'm coming into the Zoom now. Um, Everybody else, I'll see you tomorrow. Get your homework done. I love y'all. All right, I'll see you soon.